Hey there, my fellow author. I'm Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, an old soul kind of writer living my dream as a full-time author and authorpreneur. But I didn't start out living a confident, creative lifestyle. I struggled with the fears and the mental and emotional barriers that so often plague writers at all stages of their author career. But the truth is that with the right knowledge, tools, and training, you can overcome those barriers. I'm here to teach you how I've developed a lifestyle that's allowed me to publish 19 books and counting. Each week, as you tune into the Confident Fiction Author podcast, you'll get clarity on the steps you need to take to advance your writing career. Whether it's developing your ideal writing routine, tackling new skills like dictating your fiction, or overcoming the obstacles life throws your way, this podcast will help you live a more confident, creative lifestyle. Let's get started. Hey there, my friend, and welcome to this episode of the Confident Fiction Author Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. Welcome back and Happy New Year. I can't believe we are kicking off a brand new year. I don't know about you, probably feeling it right now, right? Post-holidays, and it's like, what planet am I on? What week is this? What day of the week? What am I supposed to be doing? Hopefully you've kind of gotten past some of that initial grogginess of getting into a new year and really getting ready to get back into routine, get back into your writing. If you took some time off over the holidays to just take a break, take a rest, and now it's like, okay, let me collect myself here and get back into it. That's what I want to cover in this week's episode. I just want to talk about something that I do mentally. It's not really something I've written down. It's just something that I do mentally every year, and all throughout the year, I'm actually thinking this way, and that is outlining and just really viewing the year like I do my weeks. So I'm going to break this down day by day and month by month and how this correlates, but basically just thinking about if your whole year were a week. So like January is that Monday, and then you get on into the second quarter being like Tuesday. So I'm just going to kind of break this down because it doesn't go exactly with quarters. But as I think about this each year, I'm like, yeah, this really does line up like my days of the week as far as like how I kind of have my routine and how I approach each week and just how my energy ebbs and flows and it changes throughout the week. It's the same thing with throughout the year. So I'm going to break this down in this, I think it's just a unique way of thinking about your writing year and your creativity, and this may be helpful to you as you're getting into, like I said, here in January and just thinking about your creative work days across the month so that you can really pace yourself and stay inspired and not beat yourself up as you go through the year in the same way when you're going through your weeks. So let's get into this idea of outlining your year like your days of the week. First of all, really treating the year like a week helps you break it into manageable chunks. So, like I said, if you are expecting yourself to have that same starting and fresh energy of the week that you're expecting yourself to have that on Friday as you would on Monday and Tuesday, like those are just not equal. Those are not equal days. And it's the same thing with a year. To treat every month like it's equal is really going to set yourself up for beating yourself up and feeling guilty, like, why didn't I get as much done here? Or, why did I waste this time here? And why didn't I get this book written? So really recognizing that you are going to have different energy and focus for each of your days, each of your months of the year. So thinking about your year as a week really helps you plan to, when you really want to lean in and push hard, and then maybe those times when you want to kind of ease up and take a break, take a rest and all. So what does this look like? What does this look like mentally for me, and how it affects how I outline my year when I'm doing my yearly planning and my goal setting and all those good things? Really, that that period between about the middle of January, well, really, we'll just say January through March feels like Monday. And one of the mistakes I make, like I actually love Mondays because I do work for myself, I work from home, all of that. I do love Mondays, but sometimes Monday mornings, I am a bit groggy. I am not quite hitting it with the energy that I wanted to. I'm like, hey, I had a really restful weekend. I should be able to just tear into this and do my hardest work on Monday morning. Sometimes that's the case, but often, just like that first week or two in January, I am dragging and I'm like, okay, where's the easy things? What can I do that will just get my engines warmed back up and get back into my routine, get back into my work, get my focus back there, get my creative juices going? Like, where was I in my story? Because I've been away from it for a couple of days. So where was that? And I start reading back through my last things that I had written, the last chapter, the last just few paragraphs. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I was. Okay, let me get myself back into it. That's Monday mornings for me a lot of times, and that is January. That's the first couple of weeks of January. It's usually not till about the third week in January that I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm ready to win these weeks and get this done. So January, very much that first part matches up to my Mondays. And what I want to encourage you to use that January, especially as you get into a couple of weeks, is you should have still some fresh energy to dig into your writing goals. This is a great time to focus on drafting new projects or launching some new ideas. Maybe you've had that author website that you've needed to build, or you want to create your Substack and write up some articles and get those in the can. Or maybe if you're doing fiction, maybe it's flash fictions. You're going to release one flash fiction a month for your paid subscribers, or maybe once a week. And so you want to get a lot of those batch written so that you have them for later in the year. So maybe this is a time when you're writing a couple of flash fictions a week, or maybe even one a day. That may be a bit much, but everyone goes at their own pace. So maybe it's just really hunkering down and batching some work. That's what I love to do on Mondays, is just get into the zone, get into deep work. And deep work, it's that idea of just taking a block of 3 to 4 hours of your day and focusing on one project, and come up for air, take breaks, get you a snack if you need to, walk around, certainly move your body. And if you're dictating your fiction, even better, because you get to move while you're still getting words in. But January, great time. January, February, and March. That's what I like to focus on, getting my batch work done and really tackling deeper projects that I'm scared to tackle the rest of the year, because it's like once April hits, it's like a train, the train just starts speeding up going down the hill. And so I know that my focus is going to start getting fractured. And that's the thing, I think, as we go throughout the year, we just get fragmented more and more. And that's like at the end of the year, we kind of collect ourselves back together. And then hopefully we're starting out the new year feeling a bit together. If you're not feeling together right now, that's okay. This is still a good time to kind of pull it together and go, what is my big writing project that I want to get done before the spring comes? This is my Monday of the year. I want to win the week here. I want to win the year here. And that's really what I look at January through March. If everything else goes off the rails, not that I'm not still doing a lot during the rest of the year, but if I get this one thing done, I will have won the year. And for you, like I said, it may be starting your Substack. It might be finishing that draft of your novel that you've been working on for a couple of years. Or if you're an author who does rapid release, maybe this is a time when you get 3, 4, 5, 10 books written in this 3-month period, and then focus on your editing and publishing and marketing down the road. So Monday, that January through March time period, is a great opportunity to just really have your big writing sprint of the year. Like, this is the time you're sprinting and really getting those big projects done. Next, we have Tuesday, which is April, May, and into June. This is where you're going to keep the momentum going. So you've already established some really great things from your Monday. You've kind of won the year, you've won the week here, and you're getting into your Tuesday of the year, and you're still in the groove, you're still going, but you're starting to pace yourself. I know one year for me in May, I had like 4 high school graduations that I had to be at for nieces and nephews. So it was kind of bonkers. So in the spring, yes, things start getting kind of, it starts speeding up, but you're still in the groove. You're still keeping that momentum going with your big projects. You're still getting big things done. This is also a good time to tackle editing some of those big projects. So maybe it was your website or your Substack, and this is an opportunity to go back through and, okay, you got everything set up, you've got some content batched and all. What's the next step with that project? Where is it going from here? How has it gone, and where is it going from here? If you wrote a novel during that time period, which is really awesome. I've written books through that time period of January through March. It's so fun because it's cold outside where I live, and it's just an opportunity to kind of hunker down and still be a bit in hibernation mode, but it really helps me focus. And then I kind of come up for air in April and May and June. I'm like, okay, I did all of this writing. Now it all needs to be edited, because I do things a bit more in season. Like I'll have a writing season and then an editing season and a publishing season and then back to writing. So, and I keep my writing going in between there, but I really like to have those focus what I'm really focusing on. That's what April, May, and June are great for. Usually get a good chunk of editing in April and May, and then June, maybe I'm looking at publication. I want to get these books out in the summer or maybe in the fall. I say books. If I'm doing novellas, it's usually more than one book. But if it's a novel, it's like more like one a year. So it's not like I'm putting out multiple novels a year. So this is a great time to really focus on editing or revising or refining where you're at with your Substack. And it's also a time to do a pause. So at the end of Tuesdays, I usually kind of reassess. Okay, I really killed it on Monday. I killed it again on Tuesday. And now it's late Tuesday afternoon. Where am I actually at? And sometimes that'll be the first time I really look at my planner other than appointments, but I'll kind of really look at it and go, okay, I did my big rocks. I did my big 3 almost. Maybe I'm still lacking a little bit. So what does Wednesday morning look like? What do I need to have on my mind going into Wednesday morning? And that is June for me. It's a good time it's the middle of the year. It's a good reset time to pause, look back over that January through May, and how did things go? How did things not go? And just take an honest assessment of, okay, here's where I'm at. Now, where do I need to go forward from here? And it's even good to take some time off in June. I know summer's about to hit during that time, and it's like we're going to have summer vacations and kids out of school and all of that. But if you can take even just a 4-day weekend for yourself in June to collect yourself, collect your thoughts, look at your projects, look at what you did get done, and look at what's still left on the list and where your focus needs to be for going into Wednesday or the summer of your week. Okay, so we are into that Wednesday or that July and August hump day, slump day, whatever you want to call it. It is that time where we have killed it on Monday and Tuesday, and which is January through June, and now it's like, okay, where is my energy? Like the heat's taking it out of me. We've got summer vacations. I'm just feeling a bit in a creative slump. I don't really want to write all that much, or maybe I am good with writing and maybe even editing and getting some publishing done, but I don't really want to start a new project. For me, that's the biggest thing. When I need to start a new project in the summertime, I'm not a very happy camper. And I do have to do that. Sometimes you just, like, it's Wednesday, you need to get these things done because you're halfway through the week, and doesn't matter that it's feeling kind of like you're in a slump. You've got to push through and get it done. What I do want you to do is acknowledge that it is normal. It's normal to feel that slump through July and August. And it may be the time that you really come alive, but I think there is a reason why we call it the dog days of summer, at least in my hemisphere. So it's, you're feeling that, and you're just like, hey, it's just a time to laze around in the pool or on the beach and read books. And that's great too. I love using the summertime as a refueling time. And that's what I do with Wednesdays of my week. I give myself permission to not be quite as rigid on Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday, I am focused. I am there. I am getting it done. Wednesdays, I'm still working on some of my big projects. I'm not quite finished with them, but I am giving myself permission to not be quite as rigid, take a little bit longer breaks if I need to, and just have some fun. Incorporate some extra reading time into my schedule, refill the creative well from all that I've drawn out of it from the first part of the year. And so this is a good time to focus for you on just maintenance tasks or smaller projects. Again, maybe if you have your Substack, you've kind of running out of stories that you had stockpiled, so you need to get a few more done, but you're not doing mega batching. You're just getting 1 or 2, maybe 4 of them done so that you're good for the rest of the summer until the summer winds down and you're like, okay, I can get back into it. So this is a good opportunity there in the summer to just give yourself permission to know that it's normal to have that slump and use it in the best ways that you can without adding any kind of guilt of like, oh, I should be, it's summertime, I should be getting all of these things written. So just give yourself that slow down time, enjoy family and refilling the creative well so that you can get back into things when the fall comes. All right, so Thursdays are really my September and October of the year. That is when I get my second wind, and it's on Thursdays after I kind of gave myself permission to not take it easy on Wednesday, but not put as rigid of a schedule around my just that routine and everything. So just kind of allowing myself a little bit of a breather. Come Thursday, I'm like, okay, I got my breath. Let's finish strong. Let's finish well. I know finish strong, that is a good saying, but I more like to think about finishing well. I like to finish things well. And Thursdays is my opportunity to finish the week well. And that's September and October for me. September is my birthday month, so I do like to take off. It's near the end of the month, so I like to take off that week if I can of my birthday, but at least a 4-day weekend. So I'm still looking forward to that. And that actually drives me through September to really get my work done so that I can reward myself at the end with some extra time off. But there's something about the little bit of crispness in the air, which we don't always get here in Texas, but sometimes in the fall time, in September, we will start getting just a hint of fall. And that energizes me because the heat has just taken it out of me. I've spent a lot of time in the water, which is fantastic, but I'm just ready to dry out and sip some tea. So at that point, and that is it just energizes me though. I step outside and I feel that coolness of the morning instead of just this oppressive heat. And I'm like, let's write some books. Let's get a new project started. Not anything too new. Like I am cautious. I don't want to start something that I can't finish or that I do have a solid plan for finishing because it is getting near the end of the year and I don't want to get into something that I have to stop in the middle of because it's now November and December and it's the holidays and all. So if I am going to start something, I do it in a way that I know will be sustainable all the way through till the new year. So sometimes that's starting a new draft. Sometimes it's revamping my website. Sometimes it is doing some things in batch so that I don't have to do it in November and December. So maybe it's batching up some author newsletters and getting some things in the queue, or if I'm into publication push, making sure that everything is set up and ready to go for that. If I'm launching a book in November, which I've done occasionally for Native American Heritage Month, so I like to maybe get a book out in November. So I'm really in September and early October, I'm focusing on getting all those pieces put together so that I'm not scrambling at the last minute in November to get those things launched. So this is a great opportunity to use that period to get your end of the year goals done. So instead of, a lot of people set their deadline of December 31st to have their goals done. And I'm like, oh, that just sounds like a killer. Like, I want to be done well before that December end of the year. Like, I want to be just totally relaxed. And even if it means I'm not going to finish all of my goals, I'll just reset them for the next year. I don't like to have that pressure. The pressure time is on in September and October, as far as like, this is it. Anything you want to finish for the year, you need to get it done now. And that is my Thursdays of the week. It's like anything you're wanting to get done, you need to do it now. And that's what's really great for having that second wind in September and October. I'm feeling energized and I'm like, let's do it. So that is your Thursday or your fall time of the year. Friday is, I actually do a 4-day work week, which I talk about in the podcast. I covered that in one of the episodes. It was episode number 5, where I did a podcast on why I switched to a 4-day work week in 2024. So that's when I started it and how it boosted my writing life and career. So if you didn't listen to that episode, you can go find that and the breakdown of my 4-day work week, and that matches up perfectly with thinking about the year as a week. And that gets us into Friday. And Friday is my end of October, first part of November of the year. It's really my November of the year. And that is my opportunity to, at least the first couple of weeks. And that's when I kind of just spend some time on personal. So I talked about really pushing my goals and getting my work done by the end of October. That is partly so that I can spend November taking care of my personal life. Like 1 November, before our big family Thanksgiving gathering, I spent a good bit of time digitizing our old family VHS tapes. And I'd taken them in, had them digitized, and then I took the digitized some of the footage and I spliced it together and made a nice little film for our family to enjoy during Thanksgiving. So that is an opportunity to declutter that closet and just really kind of pull your personal life back together, or just do a personal project that has been on your mind and your heart for the whole year. And you've been so focused on your writing and your career goals and getting those things done that you just really have kept putting those personal things aside. So that's kind of my personal time of the year. And it's the same thing with Fridays. So my 4-day work week typically is Monday through Thursday. Sometimes it gets thrown off because I have other personal things I need to take care of during the week. So I'm more working on my Friday. And sometimes that happens in November too. But I like to just take Fridays as my personal day, my personal admin day, that I'm doing all the projects, running all of the errands, doing any other grocery shopping, just taking care of life stuff so that I can function with my writing. Because if your personal life is all piled up on top of you, it's really hard to focus on your writing. And we all have those seasons. I talked about, in fact, working with your seasons of life. Sometimes we have personal seasons, and sometimes we have those seasons that, we're really focused on our writing. So that was episode number 36, Writing Seasons, How to Balance the Page and the Pile Up. So you might want to go listen to that episode to hear how I kind of balance my personal and my writing life to make sure nothing is getting too out of control. So Friday or November, that first part of November is really my Friday of the year when I focus on those personal things. And then it becomes my Saturday of the year. We have our family Thanksgiving dinner literally on a Saturday, the Saturday before Thanksgiving each year, because everyone just has all the things. So we just go ahead and gather up what family we can on that Saturday before. And that is really those last couple of weeks of December. That is my Saturday. I may still be catching a little bit of work. I really try not to I'm not starting any new projects, but on Saturdays, like my literal Saturdays, I don't like to do any work. But occasionally, maybe I'm doing some writing and I'm just doing it for enjoyment. It's a bonus writing day. And I'm like, I'm up early. I just want to catch an hour or so of fiction writing. And I'll do that. That's the same thing in November. I will catch maybe some extra fiction writing, some extra reading time, and I'm really just enjoying some more relaxed creativity. So no pressure, no deadlines. I just try really hard not to stack anything up. That's why I work the rest of the year like I do. I really push for it like it's the first part of my week so that come November and December, I'm really winding down and I'm just enjoying some relaxed creativity. And then December is my Sunday. I think it all started here, actually, with thinking about my year as a week. It really started with, I want to take off in December, like as close to 100% as I can. And it usually doesn't start like the first week of December. I'm still needing to do my work and do my creativity, do my marketing, my books and all. But I try to keep it very limited and I'm just wrapping things up as much as possible. When I did freelance copywriting, like I would try to get those stories going in November so that the first week or two of December, we were completely done. And I'm like, Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm out. And that's what I really have focused for several years on, making December my Sunday of the year. And that is my intentional rest. It's my reflection. It's my family time. It's refilling the creative well. That's typically when I read the most books, is in December. I am just reading and I am thinking ahead to the new year, but mostly I am just enjoying the season and enjoying family. And so I did that episode, the last episode that we did there. I actually did a couple of episodes in December of how I handle my creative time and my fiction writing time during the holidays. So check those out or bookmark them to listen to this next year or this coming year whenever you get into December, and just thinking about how you can give yourself that permission to take time off and enjoy this season. Also, I know this is usually a big planning time, and I do that week between Christmas and New Year's. I do take that as an opportunity to treat that like my Sunday evenings. So Sunday evenings, if I didn't already do my planning on Thursday or Friday morning, I will be doing my planning on Sunday evening. And actually, my mom and I do it together. We join up and we get our date books out, our planners, and we look over the week and make sure our appointments, that we both know what each other's doing and coordinate things. And we also do business together. So we're looking at what needs to be taken care of, and then just any life maintenance that needs to be done. So that week between Christmas and New Year's, we do the same thing. We're reflecting on this past year and we're looking ahead to the next year. And that's when I start thinking about the year as a week and what's that big project I want to put into January through March, and make sure I have that whole block of time set aside to really dig deep on some big projects. So let me back up to Thursday and September and October. I forgot about this. You can use that time to get your goals set for the new year. This is when I'm usually thinking about, okay, this is what I got done. Let's just take an honest look here. I did not get this book written. I'm not ready to publish this book. And so I'm just like reviewing what I did and mostly what I didn't quite get done. And I'm starting to put those things onto the new year. I'm like, okay, this is just not where I'm at. I'm not ready. I'm not going to finish this by the end of the year because I'm going to be taking November and December. That's my weekend of the year. So going to be dealing with lots of personal stuff. So this is just not going to happen. And not just that, but then I'm just looking ahead, like, what do I want my next year to look like? And I start designing it and being really intentional about what projects, what books do I want to work on? Where will I be in that summer slump of next year? So I'll already be thinking about 2027 in September and October. And sometimes even in the summer, I'm already starting to think that, just like I do on my Wednesdays. I'll be thinking about the next week and what I want to plug in there. So September, October is also a great time to be thinking about the next year. And that gets it off my mind so that I can enjoy my November and December, my Saturday and Sundays of the year. Wrapping up here, I would love to know what you think about this. Have you ever considered looking at your year as a week where you have ebbs and flows? You acknowledge that your energy's up some days and it's down some other times. And same thing with your year. It's up sometimes and it's down. And that's totally okay to recognize that and live into it instead of fighting it. Live into that and map out your own week of the year. I would love to hear if that is something here in January that you're considering doing. Maybe it's not something you've thought about before. You've got your goals and you're tearing into it, and maybe you're thinking about the year in quarters. But what about thinking about it like you would your days of the week? If that's something that is inspiring to you and it's something that you're just like, yeah, let me go deeper on that. What would it look like? Head over to my Substack. It's over at fictioncourses.substack.com. You'll find this podcast episode and just leave a comment and share with me and with your fellow authors how you're going to use this to keep you inspired and flowing throughout this new year. Here we are in 2026. I'll see you over there on my Substack. The Confident Fiction Author podcast is on there, and I can't wait to read your thoughts on this new year and just share some goals if you'd like to. I'd love to see what projects you have lined up for this year. I will see you in the next episode of the Confident Fiction Author podcast. Take care.